In this dash cam footage, we witness a terrifying incident that took place in southwest Philadelphia. It involves a hit and run where a driver struck a Robbinsville, New Jersey police officer. The whole incident was captured on a police vehicle's dash cam. But the good news is, Patrolman Connor Boyle, the officer involved, came out of this incident alive. This incident occurred on a regular Saturday night. Patrolman Boyle was assisting a stranded driver during bad weather. He was helping a motorist stuck on Route 130 southbound in Robbinsville when something unexpected occurred. The driver responsible for the hit and run, Rachel Glatt, left the scene and was charged accordingly, including a charge for not changing lanes when an emergency vehicle was present. She was held in custody in Mercer County. In this dashcam footage, we witness a distressing incident involving a Grand Rapids police officer and an alleged drunk driver. The incident unfolded on Eastern Avenue near Griggs Street on the southeast side. The video captures the moment when the Grand Rapids police officer's cruiser is struck head-on by a Toyota Camry. The officer was on an administrative run when the collision occurred. The circumstances are troubling. The Camry was traveling southbound without its headlights on and veered into the wrong lane, resulting in a direct impact with the police cruiser. Both the officer and the Camry's driver were immediately taken to the hospital. Chief Eric Windstrom, who heads the Grand Rapids Police Department, initially thought the officer had minor injuries, but later it was revealed that he suffered a serious injury. Consequently, he wasn't able to return to work for several months. In April 2018, police officers in Hurst, Texas, responded to what seemed like a routine call, completely unaware that they were on the brink of confronting a horrifying explosion that would rock their city. Their initial mission was to investigate reports of an SUV that had veered off the road, crashing into a nearby house. However, they had no inkling that this incident was a ticking time bomb. As one of the officers approached the scene, an earth-shattering explosion erupted, tearing through the air with a deafening roar. The sheer force of the blast shattered windows, sent debris hurtling through the air, and enveloped the area in a chaotic cloud of smoke and fire. 5 individuals, including 2 officers and 3 occupants of the house, found themselves ensnared in this sudden and terrifying inferno. The explosion had been triggered by the SUV striking a natural gas line, causing the house it collided with to burst into flames. It was a nightmarish scenario that would put the bravery and resilience of the responding officers to the ultimate test. In the face of this mayhem and peril, these courageous officers immediately sprang into action. They rushed to aid the injured, relying on their training and instincts to guide them through the smoke and flames. In an instant, these officers became first responders, with their primary concern being the safety and well-being of those caught in the midst of this turmoil. Although the destruction was extensive and terrifying, it is nothing short of remarkable that the occupants of both vehicles suffered only minor injuries. The female driver of the van was subsequently charged with careless driving. The dashcam footage starts by introducing us to a rookie Delaware State Police trooper named Hassan Hollis. He's stationed on a highway on-ramp, sitting patiently next to a stalled vehicle, waiting for a tow truck to arrive. The atmosphere is tense, with the surroundings in darkness and the distant sound of traffic adding to the suspense. Hassan's ordinary shift takes a sudden dramatic turn when he spots a red Buick Regal. Just minutes earlier, a radio call had alerted all officers in the area to keep an eye out for a vehicle matching that description due to its potential involvement in a kidnapping. It turns into a race against time. With adrenaline coursing through his veins, Hassan abandons the stalled vehicle and initiates a chase after the Buick Regal down the highway. This pursuit unfolds in the obscurity of night, with only the suspect's car's glowing taillights visible. The tension keeps mounting as Hassan maneuvers through traffic, determined to make a positive identification. Eventually, Hassan's training and instincts pay off. He confirms that the license plate on the Buick Regal matches the one provided in the radio alert. His heart races as he calls for backup and gets ready to pull the vehicle over. He approaches the potentially dangerous situation with extreme caution. The suspenseful pursuit reaches its climax as Hassan successfully pulls over the suspect's vehicle. The dashcam records the scene, with red and blue lights pulsating in the darkness. Hassan steps out of his patrol car, fully aware of the gravity of the situation. The outcome of this encounter could mean saving a life and bringing a kidnapper to justice. In January 2018, the beautiful Montecito region of California experienced a devastating natural disaster that changed lives forever. Heavy rains soaked the hillsides and triggered destructive mudslides that swept through the area, leaving destruction and heartbreak in their wake. These mudslides destroyed over 125 homes, damaged around 300 more, and tragically claimed the lives of 21 people, leaving the entire community in shock and grief. Montecito's police officers found themselves on the front lines of an unprecedented disaster response. Dashcam footage from their patrol cars captured the terrifying moment they were engulfed by a powerful torrent of mud, trees, and debris. Despite that, these brave officers fought to keep their vehicles under control. The dashboard cameras recorded their frantic efforts to steer to safety. Fortunately, these officers survived the ordeal, but their harrowing experience vividly showed the terrifying phenomenon. On November 19, 2017, in Clearwater, Florida, a peaceful night suddenly takes a terrifying turn. It all begins when two police cruisers respond to what should have been a routine traffic stop on the North Keene Road. However, they have no inkling that the skies above will soon become a scene of danger. As the officers arrive at a traffic stop, their attention is abruptly drawn to a chilling sight: a small plane hovering in the air, descending at an alarming rate. Panic grips them as they realize that the aircraft is on a collision course with them. The dashcams in their patrol cars record the heart-pounding moments that follow. With astonishing precision, the plane's right wing clips a tree during its descent, sending the aircraft into an uncontrollable spin before crashing onto the side of the road. It's a breathtaking spectacle of twisted metal and chaos, an unimaginable scenario for those who had just arrived moments earlier for a routine traffic check. This ill-fated plane had taken off merely minutes ago from a nearby airport, with its occupants blissfully unaware of the impending disaster. Inside the four-seater plane, 61-year-old Mark Allen Benedict and another passenger grapple with fear as their engine fails, leaving them at the mercy of gravity. Mark communicates their dire situation back to the airport, explaining their inability to return safely. With only one engine deteriorating rapidly, their fate teeters on the edge. In a desperate bid to survive, Mark executes a crash landing on the road below, unwittingly selecting a spot already occupied by police officers. The collision is brutal, yet miraculously, both Mark and his passenger emerge with minimal injuries. Astonishingly, none of the officers on the ground suffered harm either. This footage captures a tragic incident involving the fatal shooting of a New Mexico State police officer named Darian Jarrett in February 2021. The incident took place during a traffic stop on Interstate 10, New Mexico. During the traffic stop, Officer Jarrett asked the driver, identified as 39-year-old Omar Felix Sueva, to exit the vehicle. Sueva, however, exited the driver's side, holding an AR-15 style rifle and fired at least one shot at Officer Jarrett as he was walking to the rear of the vehicle. Officer Jarrett was struck by gunfire and fell to the ground. Sueva then ran around the back of the pickup truck towards Officer Jarrett, firing several more rounds at him. Tragically, Officer Jarrett was killed during this exchange. A Homeland Security Investigations agent arrived on the scene and called for assistance. New Mexico State Police officers Lionel Palomares and Sonny Montez located Sueva driving east on Interstate 10 near mile marker 116. Sueva pulled over and opened fire at the officers. The officers returned fire, but Sueva managed to evade them. Law enforcement officers from various agencies joined the pursuit as Sueva fled eastbound on I-10. Near the Picacho exit, officers used tire deflation devices on Sueva's pickup, but he continued to flee. The pursuit continued, and various law enforcement officers engaged Sueva in gunfire as he tried to escape. At different points along the highway, officers fired at Sueva. Eventually, near mile marker 140, an officer used a pursuit intervention technique maneuver to stop Sueva's pickup. However, prior to the pickup coming to a complete stop, Sueva exited the vehicle, armed with a firearm, and shot multiple rounds towards the officers and deputies. Law enforcement officers returned fire, striking Sueva several times. Unfortunately, Officer Adrian de la Guerras was also struck by gunfire during this exchange, but was later treated and released with non-threatening injuries. Despite officers rendering aid to Sueva, he sustained fatal injuries and was pronounced dead at the scene.